Winter is a time for warm, hearty food that is both comforting and full of rich flavour. In front of me, I have 4 dishes for you to savour. Why not click on the one that takes your fancy and I'll show you how to make it. Mince pies are so traditional, it seems only fair to serve them warm straight from the oven, and this homemade recipe is really tasty. Start with 275 grams of plain flour in a large bowl, and to this add 40 grams of caster sugar, half a teaspoon of salt and the zest of an orange. Add 140 grams of cold butter cut into cubes, and with your fingers rub together until it resembles fine breadcrumbs. Now, instead of doing this by hand, you could always put the ingredients into a food processor and just pulse it. Next, take 2 egg yolks, 1 whole egg and 2 tablespoons of cold water. Mix together and add to your flour mixture. Use a round bladed knife to combine the ingredients to form a dough. Shape your dough into a ball, wrap in cling film, then chill in the fridge for 1 hour. Preheat your oven to 190 degrees C or 170 in a fan oven, gas mark 5. Flour your work surface and roll out the pastry until it's 3 to 4 millimeters thick. Then cut out 12 bases with your pastry cutter, using a slightly smaller cutter for the lids. Take a 12-hole fairy cake tin and place a pastry round in each hole, pressing gently into place. Add a teaspoon of mincemeat into each case, just be careful not to overfill. Gently dampen the edge of each pastry lid and place over the top, using a fork to make a seal around the edge. Now, at this stage you could freeze the mince pies, and the best way of doing this is putting this tray straight into the freezer, and after a few hours these can be transferred to freezer bags and kept up to a month, and then you simply defrost them, put them back in the tray and bake them. So the next thing I want to do is brush the top of the pastry with some beaten egg and make 2 small cuts in the top of each one to allow the steam to escape during cooking. Bake in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes until golden. When cooked, transfer to a cooling rack and dust with icing sugar. And these are going to be delicious eaten warm. Even the smell in the kitchen is going to put a smile on everybody's face. If you thought the mince pies were fabulous, you should check out the cheesecake. This tart is a delicious combination of creamy Stilton and peppery watercress. It only takes 15 minutes to prepare and 25 minutes to cook, so it's quick and simple too. So to start, preheat your oven to 200 degrees C, that's 180 degrees C in a fan oven, gas mark 6. Then to make the filling for the tart, in a food processor, take 200 grams of cream cheese, 1 egg, 1 crushed clove of garlic, 20 grams of watercress and whiz together. Then add a pinch of seasoning and stir in a little grated nutmeg. Now take a 375 gram pack of lighter ready roll puff pastry, and you want to roll this out so it's half a centimetre thick. Then cut it into 6 13cm circles and place on a lined baking sheet. Score a border around the edge of each one about 1 centimetre wide, making sure not to cut all the way through the pastry. Then brush all over with a little beaten egg before baking in the oven for 10 minutes until well risen. Once your pastry is done, push down the inner circle to make room for your filling. Divide the mixture between the cases. Now to top it off, take 125 grams of Stilton and crumble over the tarts. Then return to the oven and bake for a further 10 to 15 minutes. Once they're done, remove from the oven and scatter with walnut pieces. To finish off, top with the remaining watercress and drizzle with a little olive oil. If you like quick, simple and tasty recipes, then this Stilton and watercress tart really is one to try. So that was the Stilton and watercress tart. How about a rack of lamb with roasted vegetables? The secret of this rich cheesecake is the finest Mandarin cream flavoured with Grand Marnier. To make the base, place 275 grams of digestive biscuits into a food processor and blend until they resemble fine crumbs. Alternatively, you could place them in a freezer bag and crush them with a rolling pin. So next, take 75 grams of plain chocolate broken into pieces and place in a saucepan. Add 125 grams of butter and gently heat, stirring until melted. Then turn off the heat. Add the biscuit crumbs to the pan and mix together until all the crumbs are coated. Next, take a 23cm loose bottom cake tin and you need to line the base with baking paper and transfer your biscuit mixture into the tin and using a metal spoon, press down firmly, making sure it goes into the edges. And this needs to go into the fridge for 30 minutes. So in this bowl I have 450 grams of soft cheese, and to this I'm going to add 125 grams of caster sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Beat well until smooth. Fold one 250ml pot of Channel Island cream with Mandarin and Grand Marnier into the mixture until fully combined. Next, for the gelatin, which is used to set the cheesecake, take a small bowl with 3 tablespoons of boiling water, swirl the water once or twice to cool slightly, and scatter 12 grams of powdered gelatin over the top and leave for 1 minute to absorb. Then stir well with a fork until the gelatin has dissolved. Allow to cool for another minute. Once this is done, add to the soft cheese mixture and mix well. Then spoon it onto the chilled biscuit base and level with a spoon. This will need to be chilled in the fridge for about 2 hours, or ideally overnight until set. To make your cheesecake look extra special, take 3 mandarins and using a serrated knife, slice away the skin from each. Cut into slices and remove any pips. Place these onto a baking sheet and sprinkle over 4 tablespoons of demerara sugar. Then put the mandarin slices under a grill on its highest setting and cook for approximately 1 minute until golden and caramelised. Once done, remove from the grill and allow to cool. Place 50 grams of plain chocolate broken into pieces into a glass bowl. Set over a pan of simmering water and stir until melted. Once the caramelised mandarin slices have cooled and the cheesecake is set, remove it from the tin and place on a serving plate. Now's your chance to get creative with the decoration. Arrange your mandarin slices over the cheesecake. And drizzle the melted chocolate over however you like. Mandarin and Grand Marnier cream cheesecake, the ultimate indulgence. If you've still got room for more, select another recipe. Just click. Roast rack of lamb and roasted vegetables is one of those classic dishes that's simple to prepare and delicious all year round. The addition of goose fat makes it even more delicious. This recipe is going to serve 6. First, preheat your oven to 200 degrees C, that's 180 in a fan oven, gas mark 6. In a roasting tin, spoon 4 tablespoons of goose fat and place in the oven for 10 minutes to heat up. Once you've done this, you can prepare the vegetables. You need to take 500 grams of chantenay carrots and halve them lengthways, and 500 grams of parsnips, which you need to peel and again halve lengthways. 3 red onions quartered, you can leave the root intact, and 4 whole cloves of garlic peeled and lightly crushed. Remove the roasting tin from the oven and carefully add the vegetables. 3 sprigs of thyme, 3 sprigs of rosemary and garlic. Then toss in the melted goose fat, ensuring that all the ingredients get a light coating. Finally, put the tin back in the oven and leave to roast for 30 minutes. Now we're going to prepare the meat. So take 2 racks of lamb, each with 6 or 7 bones, and you'll need to score the fat across the top. Then preheat a non-stick frying pan over a high heat. Take the lamb and brown on all sides for a minute or two until golden. Once you've done this, in a bowl place 3 tablespoons of cranberry sauce, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, 2 teaspoons of fresh ginger, finely grated, 1 garlic clove crushed, and mix together well. Then spread the mixture over the scored side of the meat, making sure all those lovely flavours get into the cuts. Remove the tray from the oven and carefully place the lamb on top of the vegetables. Cranberry mixture side up. Cooking the lamb on top of the vegetables allows all those lovely meat juices to get cooked in with the vegetables. So you want to cook this for 15 minutes for rare, 20 for medium, and 25 for well done. Wow, this looks amazing, a rustic feast of a meal, and this is best served with everything together on a large serving plate. So all you have to do is tuck in. Rack of lamb with roasted vegetables. If you want to see another, just click. You've got Stilton tart to start with, rack of lamb for main course, cheesecake for pud, and you've even got mince pies to have with coffee. No, not now.